I have numerous subjects covered in different books, but I didn't want to initiate some of them until I could consistently continue every week. For instance, I endeavored to conclude the material on Jesus and explored extensively about life after death. Some other topics will require more in-depth information, so I plan to address them gradually, continuing each week to ensure comprehensive coverage. Tonight's discussion extends the exploration of life after death, delving into non-human bodies where one can experience lifetimes beyond the familiar physical body. Many individuals are fixated on the physical body without realizing the possibility of having other lives. Some find it staggering to contemplate having had more than one lifetime. The notion that they've existed before can be mind-boggling for them. Personally, I've delved deeply into various forms of life, guiding people through as many as 30 Earth lives. However, even that seemed to be merely scratching the surface. It's essential to remember that you are not a body, you have a body. The current physical body is akin to clothing worn for this lifetime, subject to eventual wear and tear. Despite attachment, it will be discarded, and after a period of rest and consultation on the other side, a new suit of clothes or costume is chosen for the next lifetime. The focus lies on the reappearing aspect, not the outward costume worn on the earthly stage. Life is akin to a play, with individuals playing different roles. Regardless of how deeply involved and serious it may seem, hindsight from the other side reveals it to be a fleeting game. When guiding people through their lives and they transition to the other side, they often perceive it as a stage play. The seriousness and involvement felt during earthly existence become apparent as just a game, akin to a brief blink of an eye. I prefer to liken this existence to a school, as reflected in my writings. Our purpose in coming here is to acquire lessons, and not all of these lessons are easy, many are quite challenging. It's an integral part of the learning process. This existence is like a school where one might encounter difficulties, potentially having to repeat a grade but never being able to skip one. The key is to strive to do one's best. In the subsequent cycles, you may encounter different types of lessons, perhaps easier or not, but at least they will be distinct. The hope is that through these experiences, one becomes engaged enough to ascend the metaphorical ladder, with each lifetime being less arduous than the previous one. There's the concept of karma, a debt that individuals aim to repay. Interestingly, there are more souls eager to inhabit bodies with handicaps or disabilities than those seeking normal bodies. Reflecting on this, one might wonder why. The reasoning becomes clearer when considering the nature of learning. In a scenario where everything is easy, the lessons lack depth. One gains more knowledge when faced with obstacles and difficulties. Souls opting for handicapped bodies often carry a substantial amount of karma to repay. Choosing such a life allows them to settle as much karma in one lifetime as it would take 10 normal lifetimes. It's a challenging path, but the lessons are profound. Before returning, these souls make agreements on the other side, albeit not consciously with the earthly parents. They don't retain conscious recollection of these contracts, but a prearranged agreement exists with the chosen parents, who unknowingly commit to caring for and guiding the handicapped child. This arrangement, rooted in repaying karmic debts from possibly numerous past lives, holds significant importance. We would not understand the reasons unless we delved into each individual case and examined why the repayment was necessary. The parents responsible for caring for a handicapped, disabled, or challenged child undergo profound learning experiences from this responsibility. While they may not realize it in the midst of the difficulty, they are indeed repaying and learning valuable lessons by taking care of the child. Additionally, observing someone with a handicap prompts reflection on our own reactions. How do we respond? What impact does it have on us? These individuals, through their presence, teach everyone they encounter, those they meet on the street or elsewhere. The question is, how do we react? Do we shy away and refuse to look, or do we try to understand? Whether it's sympathy or pity, each reaction becomes a lesson that these individuals have willingly chosen to impart. The crucial aspect is our response. Ideally, once enlightened about reincarnation and karma, when encountering someone with a disability, we should think, they took on a challenging role this time. I wonder what led them to this position. Admiration should follow for their choice to inhabit a body with physical challenges. Viewing them as a soul within their current body, rather than focusing on the external appearance, is the essence of the lesson. The core principle is learning to perceive people differently. Once the teachings of reincarnation and its principles are accepted, judgment and prejudice become obsolete. After all, who's to say we weren't part of a different race or religion in another life? Being too judgmental or prejudiced might lead us to experience the very circumstances we are critical of in our next life. Achieving balance is the key lesson in this understanding. Jesus aimed to teach a universal message, to love thy neighbor and to extend love to everyone, recognizing that we don't know the challenges they have faced or are yet to face. The timeless saying, "You don't know about anyone till you've walked in their shoes," underscores the importance of refraining from judgment, acknowledging that each person is on their unique journey. While some may find the idea of having just one human life startling, the profound truth is that, in my discoveries, individuals experience many non-human lives before reaching the human stage. Earthly existence can be considered the final step in a diverse pecking order or a series of grades that one must progress through. From my extensive experience of conducting sessions over 40 years with thousands of people, I've come across an array of life experiences, including non-human forms. Initially, encountering non-human life was startling, but it became clear that one must encompass the essence of everything. This involves starting at the most basic level, being gas or a part of the atmosphere, even embodying elemental forms. I recount an illuminating story in my book, Legacy from the Start, where a young man sought to revisit his very first life on Earth. Contrary to expectations of a primitive existence, he took me to a time when Earth was still forming, void of life, with erupting volcanoes and poisonous air containing ammonia. The journey through various forms and experiences is an integral part of learning life's lessons, reinforcing the idea that, before transitioning to the other side, one must embody and comprehend every aspect of existence. Plant life, humans, or animals might not have evolved during that time because the Earth was still in the process of cooling down, and the atmosphere was not conducive for the existence of humans or animals in such a gaseous environment. His role, along with many others, was to be a part of the air and clean the chemicals from the air, particularly ammonium, gradually preparing the Earth for the possibility of sustaining life. Even in a gaseous form during our communication, he retained a personality, a unique individuality. He was not exactly human, but he possessed the capacity to express himself and share his experiences. When he wasn't screening the atmosphere to remove chemicals for the stabilization of gases, enabling life to form, he would joyfully explore the lava flowing from volcanoes, reveling in the heat. For him, it was an exciting existence. This could have continued for countless eons. Pinpointing specific time periods proves challenging, given the immense antiquity of these events. Scientists acknowledge this epoch as a distant era when Earth was still hot and devoid of life, but assigning a precise date is virtually impossible due to the vastness of time. The personality I encountered during our sessions had been engaged in the task of purifying the air for an extended period until the Earth's atmosphere and temperature gradually calmed down, paving the way for the emergence of plant life, the first sign of life. In our sessions, he shared his experiences witnessing the inception of plant life and the subsequent emergence of life in water. As we delved into his past, he underwent various stages, eventually reaching a humanoid form, albeit more embryonic, with non-functional teeth and primitive communication through grunting noises. Despite the unconventional nature of his initial existence as gas, air, or part of the atmosphere, each stage served as a valuable learning process. In the past year, 2 individuals have also shared similar experiences, contributing to the material for my upcoming book, Book 3. In Kambalutta Universe, Book 3, I encountered 2 individuals who regressed to a time when they were integral parts of the water, a period when no land existed, and the entire earth was covered by water. They vividly described the experience of being water, its vastness and beauty, with no limitations. These instances reveal a unique perspective where individuals identified as elements, existing in the most fundamental forms of life on the planet. After experiencing gaseous life, the subsequent step involves embodying solid forms such as rocks or dirt, offering insights into the nature of these seemingly inert substances. While these concepts may pose challenges for some to comprehend, the underlying principle is that everything is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Even a rock is a form of life, vibrating at a lower and deeper frequency. The divergence in frequencies explains the differences in density and hardness between various forms of matter. According to this perspective, if one understood the frequencies, it would be possible to pass through solid objects like a table or a wall. Moving on, I guided individuals to recall their experiences as rocks, and they expressed that everything seemed slowed down, emphasizing the unique characteristics of being a rock. The lessons learned from this existence, despite potentially being brief, remain intriguing. Subsequently, individuals progressed to the stage of being plants, embodying the essence of entities like roses, ears of corn, or blades of grass. Each stage in this progression represents a distinct learning experience, offering individuals a comprehensive understanding of the diverse facets of existence. I've had people share these experiences, and it is truly amazing to listen to their descriptions. Imagining oneself standing in the wind with the breeze gently blowing around, creating a sense of niceness and tranquility, is quite captivating. While in this state, there is no contemplation of the future when the individual might be picked and perhaps consumed. In that moment, the realization is that life would be short-lived, marked by changing suits of clothes or costumes. One person eloquently conveyed the unique perspective of being a corn plant, and another shared the beautiful experience of embodying a flower, feeling the petals and the surrounding vibrant greenery. Progressing from plant life, many individuals transitioned into the animal realm, exploring what it's like to be creatures with different perspectives. The logical progression led them to become animals, whether it be a bird, experiencing the freedom of flight through the air, or a wolf, reveling in the ability to run freely. These varied life experiences serve as invaluable lessons. In my encounters, I've heard fascinating accounts of individuals who, in their different animal forms, provided unique insights into their perspectives, something one wouldn't typically consider. One particularly intriguing story from the past year involved someone recalling a lifetime as an eagle. Perched on the edge of a mountain nest, overlooking a desert-like valley floor, the eagle's keen eyesight allowed it to spot the tiniest movements, such as a rabbit, from the high vantage point on the cliff. Their vision was exceptionally keen. What stood out was when she scanned the horizon, the mountains, and the scenery, it appeared much like our perception. However, if a movement caught her eye on the valley floor, everything would suddenly take on a reddish hue, and she could quickly zero in on the movement. I find myself wondering if this experience is akin to how some scientists perceive infrared, though truly understanding what a bird sees remains a challenge. Even with scientific dissection, comprehending a bird's visual perception is complex. In her account, she observed a rabbit running across the valley floor, everything bathed in a reddish tint. However, she chose not to pursue it as her chick wasn't making any sounds, indicating it wasn't hungry. The curiosity extended to the nighttime perspective, questioning how birds perceive their surroundings. According to her, during the night, everything would take on a greenish hue, allowing her to detect the heat emitted by any living and moving object. This revelation struck me as startling, resembling the experience of soldiers using night goggles, where everything appears green, and body heat becomes visible. For me, it goes beyond merely having had a life as a bird. It's about understanding the birds and the animals' experiences, delving into how they perceive the world. My insatiable curiosity always drives me to seek a comprehensive understanding of everything, prompting me to ask numerous questions.